All right. This is a short update on where I am on my Foenix A2560 project. Um, my project is to create basically a file manager. I actually started writing a file manager for the Amiga and got closest to finishing it. Then I heard in January about the Phoenixes and decided, hey, maybe I'll do that instead. The only problem being there's not really an OS for it. There's a little kernel, which you're kind of looking at there. He calls it a microkernel. Um, so I am building out basically a framework, if you will, that developers can use to build, applications for the Phoenixes. Probably just the X generation ones at this point, but maybe someday it'll recompile for the 8-bit Phoenixes. I don't know. Um, so before I can make the file manager, I have to make this framework, which is going to be, I guess, a little bit like an OS built on top of the microkernel. Um, I do not actually have a machine right now. I have one on order. I have a K. That's the one with the cool one. Well, they're all cool actually, but this is one with a built-in keyboard with the really awesome key coloring. So really looking forward to getting that. For one thing, this is what we're looking at right now is an emulator, and it doesn't have a file system support yet. So um, that makes it a little tough to do a file manager anyway. But also just things like loading graphics, I have to save them all as, basically compile them into my C program. Um, but it's a lot of fun. And what I'll show you today is just what the OS looks like, or whatever it looks like when it starts up, and we'll talk a little bit about how it might work. Okay. Oops. So one thing you saw there is the Phoenix has I think up to 8 color palettes, and they're index color 8-bit, so 256 colors. Um, and that first splash screen uses a palette which is really orange and red and black. And then when it gets past that, it's loading up the default theme, and this is a kind of a pretty standard. This is like, if you remember the old web safe colors, it's that plus a few other ranges of colors. So this will be the default one, and default theme is we'll talk about themes in it. Maybe I'll do themes in another video, but this is the default one. Essentially, so what's working so far is obviously it's got graphics, it's got a memory manager in the background, um, which is allocating, when you want to make a bitmap, that has to be allocated in the VRAM. When you want to make a string or something, that's allocated in the normal system RAM. So that part is working. It's got a lot of graphic drawing controls, so there's round rects and rects and circles and lines and boxes and things like that. Um, and obviously that's what what a window is basically, is a set of those things plus images. So the theme has kind of default images for some of the standard controls, text buttons, things like that. And then if you change themes, any those will all be part of what the theme designer does, as well as the palette. But what you're going to see, anyway, my first idea for what you're going to see when you start up the OS is this, and it's kind of like it's almost like it's in a launcher-ish mode, but it's kind of coming from that. Well, your computer should be doing something. You want to do something with the computer, so why don't we just ask you what you want to do? What do you want to do today? So I'm only showing 4 categories because I am starting to learn how to use GIMP, and I'm not even an artist of any kind, so the combination of those 2 things make it painful for me to make icons, so I just kind of stop at 4. But obviously there's more than 4 things you do with the computer, and the idea is, if you go to one of those, maybe you're going to have some more subcategories, or maybe that's the terminal category, and it's just the applications that do that thing. But maybe if you went into the game, you'd have a choice of different kinds of games, like playing an adventure game, and if you went into there, you'd have like, Zark 1 through 3 and leather goddesses of Phobos or something, right? And if you click on one of those, it would start up the game. So this is one way to use a Foenix, perhaps, if it ever gets finished. No promises. And the nice thing is, maybe no one will ever use it. I don't know. To develop new applications for it. There's also a nice application framework coming along, so it should be easy to make C applications with it. But a lot of people are going to make games in assembly, and that's fine. They'll still start from here. So this is going to be a way, really the goal here is to be able to manage your files, manage your games, whatever, and then get to them and play them. It should be pretty quick. So, and if you go to that file where it says manage files, that's just going to start up a file manager when I get that far. I think that's it for this one. Thanks for watching.